So chances are, at some point, you've thought about building a website, right? But, there's a huge difference between just throwing something online and actually building a strong digital foundation. Today, we're going to dig into the system that separates a temporary site from one that's truly built to last. Does this feel familiar? You decide, okay, I'm going to build a website. And then, boom, you're suddenly lost in this crazy maze of domains and hosting and a million different tutorials. It feels like every guide is pulling you in a different direction, and honestly, it can be incredibly overwhelming.
And look, if that sounds like you are so not alone. The real problem here is that most guides jump right into the how-to, the button clicking, but they totally skip the why. They show you all the cool tools, but forget to explain the actual foundation. The bedrock that everything else is supposed to be built on.
And that right there leads us into what I call the website building trap. It's this super common pitfall that catches so many people who are just starting out full of enthusiasm.
Just think about it for a sec. Most tutorials, they just show you which buttons to click on a specific platform. But what happens when that platform changes its whole look? Or worse, what happens when your project gets too big for that platform? You're completely stuck. This approach leads to really expensive fixes and that soul-crushing feeling that you might have to scrap it all and start over.
Okay, so let's get specific. We're going to break down 4 of the most common beginner mistakes. These are the traps that nearly everyone falls into at the start.
Okay, number 1, buying a bunch of tools before you even get what the system is. Number 2 is a big one, thinking your domain name and your hosting are the same thing. They're not. And if you tie them together too tightly with one company, getting out later can be a real nightmare. Third, and this is huge, completely ignoring DNS. Think of the domain name system as the internet's GPS. It tells browsers exactly where to find your site. If you don't control it, you don't really control who visits you. And finally, number 4. All of this stuff leads to building a site that just shatters. The second you try to move it, or the moment you get a nice spike in traffic, it just breaks.
So how in the world do we avoid all this? Well, the answer is actually a really simple but pretty powerful shift in how you think about it. It's time for a shift to systems.
So this right here, this is the big idea. It's called system thinking. All it means is taking a step back from the shiny tools and the specific platforms and really focusing on the universal principles of how a website actually works. Once you get that, the tools don't matter as much. They become interchangeable. Your foundation is rock solid even when the tech changes tomorrow. And this really shows the 2 roads you can take. You've got the tool-first approach on the left. That's where you're totally dependent on one platform, you're just kind of guessing at decisions, versus the system-first approach on the right. That gives you that strong foundation, real clarity. I mean, it's the difference between feeling completely lost and feeling totally in control, right?
And that way of thinking, well, that leads us to the solution. Let's call it the Pathfinder's Promise.
This whole framework, the HanRity Web Pathfinder, is designed to be that clear map for you. See, it's not just another tutorial showing you which buttons to push. It's a guide to help you understand the entire digital landscape so you can actually navigate it yourself with confidence.
So what do you actually get from this? What will you finally understand? Well, you'll see the entire system, not just the pretty design stuff. You'll finally get what true domain ownership means. You'll see why DNS is basically your insurance policy for the long haul. And maybe most important of all, you'll learn how to build an infrastructure that can grow with you, instead of holding you back.
All right, this brings us to our final and most important section, and it's all about the end goal, building your digital foundation.
This quote just says it all. It's not about building websites fast, but about understanding them the right way. The goal isn't just to slam something online in 10 minutes. It's about taking that little bit of extra time to build something that's strong, that's secure, and that is 100% yours.
So I'm going to leave you with this one question to really think about. Whether you're just starting out or maybe you're looking back at something you've already built, just ask yourself, is my website built on sand, ready to get washed away? Or is it built on a foundation of stone, strong enough to last for years and years to come?